Three unbiased dice are thrown. What is the probability of getting some at least 11? It's 11 by 36 anamata. This 1 by 2, 11 by 36. This acts as a high-speed buffer between CPU and main memory and computer systems. Use it to store temporarily very active data and instructions during the process. Cache memory. Cache memory high speed between CPU and main memory. Okay. And this is correct answer. Cache memory, which acts as the fast buffer between the CPU and main memory, temporarily storing active data from quick access to speed up the computer performance. EPROM, EPROM, flash and PROM are types of non-volatile memory for long-term storage, not fast buffer for active processing. Cache memory, a small, very fast memory that holds copies of frequently used data and instructions from main memory RAM, reducing the type of the CPU spends waiting for data. EPROM, EPROM and PROM, PROM, flash, these are types of read-only memory or ROM or flash memory used for permanent storage or FRIM, not as high-speed buffer for the ongoing task. Okay. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the complements? Complements are used in a digital computers for simplifying the subtraction operation and for logical manipulation. There are two types of complements for each base OR systems. There are OR complements and OR ones complement. Both 1 and 2 are true. Okay, both 1 and 2 or 3 system 1 is correct because complements are indeed widely used in digital computers to simplify the subtraction operation, typically by converting it into an addition process. Example, using 2's complements in a primary system. There are also used for logical manipulation. Statement 2 is correct because for any base or number systems there are always two types of complements defined: the R's complement, radix complement, and the R's ones complement. Diminished radix complement for binary base 2. These are twos and ones complement for decimal base 10. They are tens and nines complements. Why other options are incorrect? Okay. Both are correct. తర్వాత which of the following statements is correct regarding flip-flops? A flip-flop circuit can maintain a binary state indefinitely as long as power is applied until directed by an input signal to switches. The major difference among these types of flip-flops are in the number of inputs they possess and in the manner in which the inputs affect the binary state. The thing which is both 1 and 2 respected as a fourth option in the original question format, starting with the period. Both statements are correct according to the flip-flop explanation. A flip-flop is a basic memory element, a base table multivibrator in digital electronics. It can maintain a binary state 0 or 1 indefinitely as long as the power is continuously supplied to the circuit until the input signal specifically directs it to the change or switch states. Statement 2: the various types of flip-flops such as SR, JK, D and T flip-flops primarily differ in the number of inputs they have and the specific logic or manner by which these inputs determine the binary state. For example, a D flip-flop has a single data input while a JK flip-flop has two inputs that can also cause the input to toggle. Why other options are incorrect? Only two. This is incorrect because statement 1 is also a fundamental and correct characteristics of a flip-flop. Neither 1 or 2 is an incorrect because both statements 1 and 2 accurately describable properties of flip-flops. Only one this is correct. This is incorrect because statement 2 is also correctly described how different types of flip-flops are distinguished. Which of the following statements is correct? Which of the following statements is or are correct regarding to the flip-flop? Which of the following formula is used to calculate the sensitivity of the model? TP by TP plus Fn. The correct option is TP by TP plus Fn. Sensitivity is also known as recall or the true positive rate. Measures the proportion of the actual positive case that are correctly identified by the model. TP stands for true positive. Cases correctly identified as a positive. Fn stands for false negative. Actual positive incorrectly defined as a నెగిటివ్ పాజిటివే కానీ నెగిటివ్ అని చెప్పారు. టీపీ ఏవి పాజిటివ్ అవి పాజిటివ్ అనే చెప్పినారు. సమ్ ఆఫ్ టీపీ ప్లస్ ఎఫ్ఎన్ రిప్రజెంట్స్ ద టోటల్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ యాక్చువల్ పాజిటివ్ కేసెస్ ఇన్ ద డేటా సెట్స్. టీపీ ప్లస్ ఎఫ్ఎన్ false negative actual positives indirectly identified as negative. The formula effectively calculates the portions of correctly predicted positive instances out of all existing positive instances. Okay. Which state the machine learning techniques with the way of working. Supervised learning utilize the labeled data sets. Supervising అంటే తెలిసిండేవే కాబట్టి labeled data sets. Unsupervised learning utilize the data that is not labeled, attempts to find the patterns by clustering similar objects together. ఓకే. అన్సూపర్వైజ్డ్ లెర్నింగ్ అంటే సూపర్వైజ్డ్ డేటా అంటే లేబుల్గా లేని డేటా. దానికోసం లైక్ అటెంప్ట్స్ చేసి ఒకేలా ఉండే వాటిని చూసి ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ని క్లస్టర్స్ లాగా చేసి కనుక్కుంటాం. తర్వాత రీఎన్ఫోర్స్మెంట్ వర్క్ ఆన్ ఏ ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఆఫ్ రివార్డ్ అండ్ పనిష్మెంట్. అంటే అది సరిగ్గా పనిచేస్తే రివార్డ్ ఇస్తుంది, సరిగ్గా పని చేయకపోతే పనిష్మెంట్ ఇస్తుంది. అది రీఎన్ఫోర్స్మెంట్ లెర్నింగ్. ఓకే. XYZ 352 and YZ 25, then what is the value of XYZ? దాన్ని ఇట్లా మామూలుగా టేబుల్ లాగా ఈజీగా అనుకోవచ్చు. ఒక దానిలో మల్టిప్లై చేసి సింప్లిఫై చేస్తే వచ్చేస్తుంది. అదే సేమ్ ఫార్ములా 3522 తర్వాత 22225 అలా పెట్టి దాంతో ఒకటి మల్టిప్లై చేసి పైనుంచి కిందికి మల్టిప్లై చేసి సింప్లిఫై చేస్తే వస్తుంది. In context of database management, which of the following is correct regarding to the query of an example? Both 1 and 2 correct. A query by example from collects all information from a user for compulsory query language statements for search criteria. Query by example relieves a user from remembering query language keyword and using them with correct syntax from a queries. Both 1 and 2 are correct. Both explanations or statements are correct descriptions of query by example QBE in a database management systems DBMS. Statement 1 is correct because a query BE forms provides a visual form based interface using user specify their research criteria. This information is then used by systems to automatically generate the actual query. Example, query language like SQL needs to retrieve the data. Statement 2 is correct because the primary benefit of a QB is that it provides a user-friendly graphical alternative to writing complex query language code. It allows non-technical user to interact with the database without needing to remember specific keywords or follow a strict syntax. Why other options are incorrect? D8. Which of the following is not necessary condition for the deadlock? Preemption. No preemption వచ్చేసి necessary condition. Preemption కాదు. ఓకే. Preemption. Deadlock occurs only if four specific conditions known as the Kaufman conditions hold simultaneously: mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, and circular wait. Three conditions. The conditions listed in these questions are preemption. In fact, the absence of preemption or no preemption is the one of the necessary conditions for the deadlock. Preemption itself is a strategy that can be used to prevent or recover from deadlocks, uh, not an action that causes them. Therefore, preemption is not a necessary condition for deadlock. Why other options are incorrect? Circular wait. This is a necessary condition where a set of processes from a close, closed chain interact, each waiting for a resource held by the next process in the chain. Mutual exclusion. This is a necessary condition where at least one resource must be non-shareable, meaning only one process can be used at a time. Hold and wait. This is a necessary condition where the process holding at the least one resource is waiting to acquire additional resources held by other processes. Question number 91. Which of the following statement is correct regarding to the entropy of which is a measurement that uncertainly in data? Low entropy indicates that the data labels are quite uniform. High entropy means the labels are in chaos. Both one and true correct. Entropy used in the information theory and machine learning is a measure of the uncertainty or randomness with a data sets labels. Explanation. Statement 1. Low entropy indicates that the data labels are quite uniform, meaning most data points belongs to the same category that represents a low degree of the uncertainty or high predictability in the data. Statement 2. The high entropy means the difference categories is in a less predictable manner, which is described as a high beginning in chaos or highly random. This represents the high degree of uncertainty. Since both statements accurately describes low entropy relates to the data uncertainty and label distractions, both are correct.